I am Alyssa, and today I'm bringing you my reading wrap-up at number 2 of the year. And I've read a few more books, some I don't have with me, but most of these books I have reviews up on my blog, alycat if you want to read my written reviews. That link is down below in the description box. But let's just go through what I've read and what I rated these books. And yeah, let's just get talking about bibliophile stuff. The first thing I read over the past couple of months was Battle Angel Alita Volume 2. And even though I did not enjoy this as much as the first installment, I did really like this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This volume mostly consists of the motorball segments of the story, which I'm not the biggest sports or racing fan in the first place. And even though this is a science fiction take on racing and sports, it's still kind of dragged for me. But I did really like seeing more about Alita, how her personality changed after the first volume, more about Dr. Ito. I just loved seeing the characters, the new characters. All that was great. The artwork is beautiful, and I cannot wait to continue on with the next volume. I just didn't enjoy this one as much as the first, but it's still a really, really good manga, and I'm just pumped to continue with this series. The next book I read was The Rules Do Not Apply by Ariel Levy, and I enjoyed this well enough. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did think that she went a little too woe is me and blamed too many people for things that were either her issues or were not her issues, but she still blamed people. But overall, this was a really fast, quick memoir about Ariel's life, her career, tragedies that befell her, her marriage, etc. I really liked how she did delve into her sexuality, how her marriage worked and what complicated the marriage. I like seeing a little bit into her life, and especially the tragedy that is showcased is heartbreaking to read about. But like I said, some of it felt a little too woe is me, which I mean, it is a memoir, you're seeing one side of the story, but I did feel like she placed blame on people a little too much. But overall, I would say read it if you're looking for a fascinating memoir. It's just not as, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, it just didn't satisfy me as much as I thought it would. I also read The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This is a classic horror novella, and I didn't really like it that much. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was too wordy and too long for its own good, which this is only about a 100-page novella, so it's not that long, but it's just filled with so much filler, and I just felt like if it had been condensed down, it would have been a much more effective ghost story, or whatever kind of thing is going on in this story is. You're following a governess as she is hired to look after 2 children, and she is convinced that there are ghosts on the property at Bly Manor that want to hurt the children, and it's just, that's really interesting, and when she does see the ghost, it's really fascinating. But again, I felt it was way too wordy. It could have been cut down, some of the fat could have been excised, and I think it would have been a better story. But I know a lot of people love this novella, and I don't fault them for that. This inspired so many movies and TV shows and books that I'm grateful for that, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. I also didn't like Life of Pi by Jan Martel. I really enjoyed the film version of this, but the book was just, again, too wordy. It's way too descriptive. Also, if you are sensitive to topics about animals being hurt or killed, this will definitely break your heart. It's just, I couldn't even finish this book. I DNF'd it. It was just too wordy, and it took so long to get to a really exciting point, and then it kind of just drifted along. Again, I think the film did a better job of telling the story than the book did. But I know a lot of people, again, love this book. It won the Man Booker Prize. It just wasn't for me. So I didn't even give it a star rating because I DNF'd it, and I don't think it's fair to give a rating to a book you DNF. So I just didn't like Life of Pi. I'm sorry! Now, a book I actually really loved, and my first 5-star read of the past few months has been Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. Now, I did talk about this in my October favorites video, so I'm not going to go too in-depth to this, but it was just such a worthy sequel to The Shining. I loved reading about Danny Torrance as an adult, and all the themes it explored and how it fleshed out the Shining powers and just the new characters just added so much to this amazing story, and I think Stephen King nailed the ending of this book, so I highly recommend it. And if you have not read the Shining novel, read that, then read this, and just be amazed. Now, the next book I read was A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Now, this terrified me to death. This story is seen through the eyes of a younger sister named Mary Barrett, whose older sister Marjorie was considered to be either mentally ill or possessed by a demon. And the Barrett family agreed to have a reality TV show crew come and film Marjorie and what was going on with her, and it became a popular TV show for how long it lasted. Now, this book is told in 3 different styles through Mary's eyes during the whole possession reality TV filming segment. Blog posts from someone who is dissecting every episode and basically bashing every possession element of the show, and through the eyes of Mary in the present day as a woman in her early 20s. Now, the first half of the book terrified me. It freaking terrified me. It was so vivid. I felt like I was in the house of the Barretts. Paul Tremblay's writing is extremely descriptive, and I felt like I was in the house of the Barretts. If you're squeamish, this book will trigger everything because it pretty much discusses every bodily fluid imaginable. So some of it did actually bother me, but the second half started to lose steam. It still kept me hooked and interested, but the first half was utterly terrifying. Second half started to lose that quality, but I still gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I do really want to read Paul Tremblay's other book, The Cabin at the End of the World, but I don't think I will return to this just because A, is still kind of terrifying to me, even though I know what happens now. And second off, it's just not a book that has a lot of rereadability for me, but I did enjoy it. It did scare me. It was a good Halloween read. So if you're looking for something spooky and you like reading books about demonic possession, check out A Head Full of Ghosts. And the last book that I read and loved was The Whisper Man by Alex North. This is, again, extremely creepy. I did cover this in my October favorites, so again, I'm not going to go on for too long with this, but I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's just, it puts you in such a suspenseful state, and it elicits such dread, and it's just so wonderfully written. Alex North really knew how to place the reader into the shoes of a concerned parent. But I will say the ending felt a little bit rushed. The story was paced, so events slowly unfolded, but then the end just felt rushed compared to all the rest of the novel. But I'm not going to fault it too much for that because it was so entertaining and so eerie and creepy and suspenseful and just an excellent mystery thriller with a tinge of horror. So I really loved The Whisper Man, and it was the perfect way to end Halloween. So those are all of the books I read over the past couple of months. Let me know what you've read down below in the comment box. Like the video if you like it, share it if you liked it because that helps me out tremendously. If you're new here but you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to tap the notification bell because that will alert you every time I upload a new video. If you'd like to follow me on my social media accounts, those are all linked in the description box below the video. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!